Hey, yo, what's up, YouTube, man? It's your boy, Ashton Jackson. And in today's video, I'm going to be talking about the Cowboys versus Jets preview on Sunday. So before we hop into the video, I appreciate if you guys would like the video. Subscribe if you're new, comment, and share my video with anyone who you think will enjoy my content, man. So hopping straight into it, I already went over the injury report yesterday. So if you guys want a more in-depth analysis on that, make sure you guys go check on my last video. Really, basically, the news that was new today was that Greg Zuerlein is not going to be playing in Sunday's game. I don't really know if that's going to be a competitive advantage for the Dallas Cowboys because, you're going to have a new kicker who hasn't really been kicking a whole lot really in time in games. So, but, with the crowd, with people actually rushing him, things of that nature, and, trying to potentially block his kick, I don't know if that serves a competitive advantage for the Dallas Cowboys, but hopefully it does. But that's really not too much what I'm really worried about. I'm going to be talking about the offense and defensive strategies about how we're going to beat the New York Jets. Of course, if you guys don't know already, we are playing against Zach Wilson instead of Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers tore his Achilles on Monday night. So we're going to be playing against Zach Wilson. I really wanted to play against Aaron Rodgers, but, just how the NFL works sometimes, right? So my number one priority of being the Jets is stopping the run. Since they no longer have Aaron Rodgers, they're really going to be depending on their run game and that stout defense that they do have, right? So normally, they have this game plan for a lot of inexperienced quarterbacks that they don't really believe in. To see that when organizations, coaching staff don't believe in a certain player, they try to work around it, right? So I believe what the Dallas Cowboys are going to have to do is stop the run. You stop the run, you want to force Zach Wilson to then play quarterback, which is my number 2, right? Stopping the run goes into many different categories in terms of, when they hand off jet sweeps to certain players. Zach Wilson might want to keep a ball, might try to run for a couple of yards, make sure we have a quarterback spy up in case that does happen. But I don't think Zach Wilson is going to be taken off that much because I do feel like our defensive line can catch up to Zach Wilson if he does decide to take off. But really, Breece Hall, man, Breece Hall is a baller. He would have won Offensive Rookie of the Year last year. His teammate won in Garrett Wilson. But I felt like Breece Hall probably would have been in that consideration if he hadn't got hurt last year. And he looked really good against the Buffalo Bills last week. So watch out for Breece Hall. And they also do have Dalvin Cook, which they signed, I think, about a week, 2 weeks before the NFL season. So you got to watch out for that run game. Stopping the run will force Zach Wilson to play quarterback because when you have that threat of the run, Zach Wilson can be under center, which he's going to be a lot anyway. Normally, he's used to being that spread offense like how he was at BYU. So, he's not really going to be utilized and used to being under center a lot. And that's what Nathaniel Hackett is going to have Zach Wilson do, be under center. But if we can take away that run, we can see Zach Wilson a lot in, a spread gun bunch formation where we can, pin our ears back and go after the passer because do exactly what we did against the Giants, right? Once we got to an extensive amount of a lead against the Giants, Saquon Barkley was no longer in the equation. Neither was Daniel Jones in his legs, and they were forced to throw the ball, right? We do the same thing in Sunday's game. We'll be fine. We can blow the doors off the Jets, right? The third thing, we already know that the Jets have a really great defense, and if you guys are also considering what Dak is going to look like against a top-tier defense like San Fran, in which we play him October 8th, which is week 5, if you're worried about Dak Prescott against that great of a defense, you're going to get a preview of that in this defense, right? Robert Saleh comes from that San Francisco type of tree where they play a lot of quarters, cover 2 high, where they're going to have, they're going to pin their ears back. They're going to play a lot of wide 9, that means they're going to have their edges basically in the 9 technique, which is outside of the tackle box just a little bit outside of the tackle box, to where that if you have slow-footed tackles and you can't keep up with a Jermaine Johnson, a Will McDonald, and Carl Lawson, and all those sort of guys that they do have coming off that edge, it's going to be a very tough day for your tackles. I'm fine and believing in Tyron Smith and Terrence Steele. And then really what they want you to do is funnel everything inside. So I feel like we're going to have a lot of run lanes in this game because something they're not going to be able to do in this game is only dedicate 5 or 6 people in the box, because if they do, along with the offensive line that plays for us, Tony Pollard is going to be able to run the ball. But most importantly, why I'm talking about the stout defense is that we need Dak Prescott to take care of the ball. That's the only reason why the Jets were able to stay in that game, was because of a lot of dumb, idiotic turnovers by Josh Allen. Not saying that he's dumb or idiotic. He's not. He just played like that on Monday. He's a really great football player. He just didn't play like it at all. And, that's something he's used to, right? He turns the ball over a lot. He led the league in turnovers last year. Ever since I think there's like a stat floating out there, ever since like 2018 when he came into the league, he leads the league in turnovers with almost 90 turnovers, right? So we're going to be just fine. But I just need Dak Prescott to take care of the ball. I know that that's never been like him other than last year. But prior to that, he's never been a turnover-prone type of player. We're going to be fine. He just has to take care of the ball. Don't give the Jets short fields, basically, right? Get the ball out quick. Stay ahead of the chains because, like I already said, they have a lot of great pass rushers, and they can get to the quarterback pretty easily. But get the ball out quick. Dak Prescott last week had the quickest time of getting the ball out. So let's see if that can just be a trend this year, right? Where he's getting the ball out pretty quickly, because that's going to be really great against defenses that are really great like this one. You don't want that pass rush to overwhelm you. San Francisco, Philly, Washington has a pretty good defense. So you're going to play a lot of solid defenses this year. So you got to make sure you're getting the ball out pretty quick. And I want that to be a common theme throughout the season and heading into the playoffs, right? Limit the penalties. Limit the penalties. Limit the penalties. I know last week we only had 7. And hopefully we can keep that trend of keeping it underneath 10. Again, I don't want those dumb penalties where it's 3rd and long, Zach Wilson lets go of the ball, and you look at him wrong, and the penalty, you're going to get a 15-yard penalty for taunting or, whatever the case might be, or whatever they want to penalize you on. Special teams, we got a special team block. No blocking in the back because we could have easily got 7. Now we just blocked the kick. Now we have to go where we blocked. We have to go back 15 yards, whatever the case might be. So offensive holding, we get a big gain, don't hold, right? And that's downfield. That is importantly key for on the front line, but specifically downfield. If you're downfield and you're on the left hash and the play's happening on the right hash, let that player go. I give a few examples as to why there are some dumb penalties in the league. And then another thing is the Jets, they play a lot of cover 2. They play a lot of too high safety. And what I was seeing against that Bills game, and one play I liked in particular that the Colts was doing was that they would have a trips to the bigger side of the field. So whatever was the more side of grass on that, or turf, whatever reference you want to determine the field, whatever the side had more playing area, they had trips, right? And what I saw a lot that the Jets would do is they would put the running back into a swing or a bubble type of motion out of the backfield. And you see those 3 receivers on that trip side, whether they're in 11 personnel with a tight end in the back, or for us, we can do a 21 personnel. We can have Hendershot, Lamb, Ferguson, lead block essentially for Tony Pollard. Dak Prescott snaps it, gets the ball out to Tony Pollard. And I saw a lot of times Damien Harris, James Cook were getting about 5 or 6 yards a clip. If we can get that to a side on the trip side where more of the side of the field is, and Sauce Gardner is playing to the sticks around, let's say, 10 or 11 yards, their slot corner, Michael Carter, Jordan Whitehead, whoever, right? If they're playing off and we have that trips look, motion Tony Pollard out to that side, throw the ball out to Tony Pollard, and Tony Pollard's going to easily get you 10 to 15 yards, if not more, if you break the tackle, right? 20 yards, touchdown. It can be a very big gain. Cover 2. Another thing about cover 2 is that we can attack the middle of the defense, right? One thing about Sauce Gardner, he is not going to follow CeeDee Lamb. So in this game, I am looking for Jake Ferguson, Hendershot. If we use Hunter Lepke out the backfield like how we did in that preseason game against the Raiders, put Cedarian Lamb in the slot, have him eat in the slot. If we're going to have Tober and Gallup outside, I feel very comfortable with those 2 playing outside. But I want CeeDee Lamb in the slot. Again, find the bum, find the scrub. Shout out to Vosh Lombardi. That's his term, right? But that's just football in general. You find the weakest link and you attack it, right? Again, they cover 2. You can attack the middle of that defense. I feel fine with C.J. Mosley trying to guard Jake Ferguson, or Quentin Williams' brother, Avery Williams, trying to guard Jake Ferguson or CeeDee Lamb. I dare one of them to let them guard one of our great pass catchers. Is going to be a tough day for him, right? Then we can put Tony Pollard, Rico Dowdle, Cavante Turpin, Deuce Vaughn out of the backfield on routes and still route up your linebackers, right? So really, those are my 6 keys into beating the New York Jets. Again, I'm going to go over them real quick. Stop the run. That includes Breece Hall and Dalvin Cook. They don't really trust in Zach Wilson, so they're going to really rely on that defense and that running game, which leads into my second point: force Zach Wilson to play quarterback. You force him to do that, he will turn the ball over, just like how Josh Allen did on Monday night. Zach Wilson will keep you in this game, just alone. Alone, Zach Wilson will keep you in this game. If offense takes care of their job and score touchdowns early and often, this game's a blowout by halftime. Dak has to take care of the ball. That's only how Jets are going to stay in this game if you are reckless with it, right? Get the ball out quickly. We don't want that defensive pass rush to overwhelm us. Limit the dumb penalties, the roughing the passer, the holding when a big play happens and it's not even on your side. Jets play a lot of cover 2. Let's try to eat up their cushion that they're going to try and give us. Attack the middle of that defense. We're going to be just fine. That's about it for the video. Hope you guys have a nice day. Stay safe, stay blessed. Bye.